Okay, team, let's talk about how hard you train. Because a lot of people think that more is better and will just train as hard as they can, as often as they've got time for, and just hope for the best, and then wonder why sometimes they're not seeing the results for all the hard work. Equally, sometimes people can think that they're doing a bit here and there, and that's enough, and then wonder why nothing ever changes. When really what we want to be aiming for is training somewhere between our minimum effective dose and our maximum recoverable volume. Our minimum effective dose is the smallest amount of training that your body needs in order to create adaptation. And the maximum recoverable volume is the most your body can handle before actually training is negative as opposed to positive. If we train somewhere between the two, then we're going to make progress. But here's the thing. It's a sliding scale of adaptation. Theoretically, if you train anywhere above your minimum effective dose, that is progress. So this is not maintenance, this is minimum effective dose for progress and for change. So you could do just enough to get progress. And if you always did that, then you're always going to make progress, you're always going to get results. If you try to work to your maximum recoverable volume, you are having to put in more effort. The higher up we come along the scale, the more intensity it requires, the more volume you're putting in, and the harder that is for your body to handle. So we face what we call the law of diminishing returns. You're putting in more and more work, but the progress you're getting is getting smaller and smaller. To the point where eventually, if you go past your maximum recoverable volume, you're, like I say, risking injury, burnout, or just putting yourself into a hole that takes you 3 or 4 days to get out of. You've trained so hard in a workout, you just don't feel right for 3 or 4 days. That's your maximum recoverable volume. But you could have got the same results or just as good results down here. Maybe trying to optimize and trying to squeeze that extra bit out, but it's just demanding so much on your body. So here's something that I used to do. I always used to think about optimizing everything and pushing myself to my limit to get the fastest amount of progress possible. So that was me trying to think about working to my maximum recoverable volume. And as soon as I got that, as soon as I got like a 1 rep max or my best 5K time or something like that, I would be thinking, cool, let's try and push beyond that now. So I was trying to get up here. But of course, what I'm doing now is I'm always challenging my maximum recoverable volume, and I'm always putting a high demand on my body, which my body struggles with. So instead of smashing your ceiling, let's think about raising the floor. So if you're working just above your minimum effective dose, somewhere in this region, then you're making progress, but it's not creating a massive demand on your body. Now, over time, if you're working to this level, your minimum effective dose is going to be more and more what your body can handle and what you're used to. And eventually, your minimum effective dose is going to be higher and you'll stop making progress. At that point, or as it's approaching, we can then start pushing to more intensity and more volume. So now we're lifting the floor of what your body's capable of, and your minimum effective dose is getting higher. So as a result, all of this is shifting upwards, and you are getting continuous progress without burning out, without risking injury, without causing pain, without putting yourself in a hole, and you're able to continuously have energy for the rest of your life, feel fresh, feel good, but it does require you doing the minimum effective dose. And for some people, that's going to be more than 2 training sessions a week. We need a good amount of stimulus to create adaptation. Equally, people who are trying to do the most might be risking doing too much. If we can work closer to somewhere in the middle, or even just minimum effective dose to the middle, that's going to be more ideal for us to constantly get progress, constantly feel good, constantly feel energized, and constantly enjoy our training and feel motivated. So just an interesting concept for you. We still need to do enough. It doesn't mean back off and do nothing, but we need to consider that we don't want to be smashing our ceiling. We ideally want to be raising our floor.